17 interruptions. In 8 minutes and 34 seconds, Attorney General Pam Bondi interrupted Congressman Jamie Raskin 17 times. 17 times she tried to talk over him. 17 times she tried to redirect the questioning. 17 times she refused to let him finish a sentence. And then on the 18th attempt, Raskin looked her directly in the eye and said 4 words that silenced the entire chamber. "You have no choice. Watch what happens next." Watch Bondi's face change, watch her lawyers freeze, and watch how a constitutional law professor just taught the Attorney General of the United States that she does not get to decide which questions to answer. You need to see this until the very end, because what Raskin forced her to admit will change everything you thought you knew about the Epstein files. If you are new here, subscribe right now and turn on notifications. This is not just another hearing. This is the moment someone finally told Pam Bondi no. Let me set the scene for you. House Judiciary Committee, Room 2146, Wednesday afternoon, 2:47 p.m. Eastern Time. The room was packed, every seat taken, journalists standing against the back wall, cameras positioned at every angle. Bondi arrived with her usual entourage, 3 lawyers, 2 aides, that confident stride she has perfected over years of avoiding accountability. She sat at the witness table looking relaxed, almost bored, like this was just another performance she had to get through. But here is what she did not expect. Jamie Raskin was not playing that game today. For those who do not know Raskin, he is not your typical politician. Maryland congressman, Harvard Law School graduate, taught constitutional law at American University for 25 years, lead manager for Trump's second impeachment trial. The man knows how to build a case, and today he brought a case that Bondi could not interrupt her way out of. The first 30 minutes were standard procedure. Other committee members asked their questions. Bondi gave her rehearsed answers, vague statements about Department of Justice priorities, generic promises about transparency, nothing concrete, nothing meaningful. She checked her watch twice, looked like she thought this would be easy. Then Raskin took the microphone. "Madam Attorney General," the room shifted. That moment when everyone realizes something different is about to happen. Cameras refocused. Journalists stopped typing and started watching. Even Bondi's lawyers sat up straighter. "I want to discuss the 47 names that appear in the Epstein investigation files that your department has refused to release." Bondi did not even let him finish the sentence. "Congressman, I have been very clear that the Department of Justice does not comment on ongoing investigations or matters that involve. I am not asking about ongoing investigations." Raskin's voice was calm, professional. "I am asking about closed files. Files that by law should be available under FOIA requests. Files that contain 47 names of individuals connected to Jeffrey Epstein's operation. Files that you personally signed a directive to keep sealed." Interruption number 2 came immediately. "Congressman, you are mischaracterizing my directive. That document was about protecting victims and ensuring that sensitive information." Madam Attorney General, Raskin held up a single piece of paper. "This is your directive, dated March 3rd. Quote, all documents related to investigation JE02 are hereby designated as law enforcement sensitive and exempt from public release." End quote. He looked at her. "There is nothing in this directive about protecting victims. There is no mention of sensitive information. It is a blanket seal on everything." Interruption number 3. "That directive was written in consultation with career prosecutors who determined I did not ask who you consulted with." Raskin's tone had not changed. Still calm, still measured, but there was steel underneath now. "I asked why you sealed documents that the previous administration had already cleared for release. Why did you reverse that decision 3 weeks after taking office?" Bondi tried again. "Congressman, when I assumed my role as Attorney General, I conducted a comprehensive review of all pending matters and determined that certain materials required additional scrutiny before interruption number 4. Raskin did not raise his voice. He did not have to. Additional scrutiny. That is an interesting phrase. Let me show you what additional scrutiny looks like. He pulled out a document from the folder in front of him. This is an internal Department of Justice memo from February 17th. Before your directive, detective. An assistant U.S. attorney wrote, quote, "The following documents have been reviewed by classification specialists, privacy officers, and senior counsel. All 47 names can be released with appropriate redactions to protect ongoing law enforcement equities. Release is recommended." End quote. He set the paper down. 5 senior DOJ officials recommended release. You overruled all of them. Why? Interruption number 5. Congressman, I respect the work of career professionals, but as Attorney General, I have the ultimate authority to... And that is where things changed. Raskin did not interrupt her back. He waited. Let her finish. Let her claim that authority. And then he said something that made every lawyer in the room lean forward. Madam Attorney General, you are absolutely correct. You do have the ultimate authority. But with that authority comes ultimate accountability. And under federal law, specifically 5 U.S.C. Section 552, you are required to provide a detailed justification for withholding documents under FOIA. So I am going to ask you again, what is your justification for sealing 47 names that career prosecutors already cleared for release? Now, I need to stop for a second and say this. If this matters to you, if you believe this story needs to reach more people, hype this video right now. The hype button is right next to like. You can hype 3 times a day for free. We have 7 days to get this into the top 100 most hyped videos on YouTube. Every single hype counts. Do it now. Then keep watching, because what comes next is the moment Bondi realized she could not talk her way out of this. Interruption number 6 came fast. Congressman, there are national security implications that I cannot discuss in an open setting. Then we will go into closed session right now. Raskin did not hesitate. I will ask the chairman to clear the room. We can discuss these national security implications in a classified briefing, unless you are telling me there are no actual national security concerns and you are simply using that phrase to avoid answering my question. Bondi's face changed. Just for a second, that micro-expression you get when someone realizes they walked into a trap. Congressman, that is not what I am saying. I am simply indicating that, then let's be clear. Raskin pulled out another document. This is a memo from the Director of National Intelligence dated March 1st, 2 days before your sealing directive. Quote, "This office has reviewed the materials in question and finds no classified information or intelligence sources and methods that would be compromised by public release." End quote. He looked at Bondi. The DNI says there are no national security concerns, so that cannot be your justification. What is? Interruptions 7, 8, and 9 came in rapid succession. Bondi was losing composure. Congressman, you are cherry-picking documents without full context. I cherry-picked this from your own department. If there is a memo that contradicts the DNI finding, show it to me. I am not asking if you are prepared. I am asking if it exists. Does a memo exist that contradicts the Director of National Intelligence? Silence. 3 seconds. 5 seconds. Then interruption number 10. Congressman, this line of questioning is inappropriate for an open hearing. Why? Because it is forcing you to tell the truth. Raskin's voice was sharper now. Madam Attorney General, you came here under oath. You swore to provide truthful testimony to this committee. I am asking you a simple factual question. Does a memo exist that justifies sealing those 47 names on national security grounds? Yes or no? Bondi looked at her lawyers. Both of them were writing notes frantically. Neither of them was looking up. She was on her own. Congressman, I would need to review my files too. I will take that as a no. Raskin did not wait for her to finish. No memo exists because there is no national security justification. There is no victim protection justification. There is no ongoing investigation justification. There is only one reason you sealed those files. Someone told you to. Interruption number 11 was the loudest yet. Bondi's voice actually rose. Congressman, I categorically reject the insinuation that I would compromise my integrity to protect anyone, regardless of their political connections, or I did not insinuate anything. Raskin's voice cut through like a blade. I stated a fact. You sealed files that were cleared for release. You overruled your own career prosecutors. You claimed national security concerns that do not exist. And now you are sitting here refusing to provide any legitimate justification. He leaned forward. So I am going to ask you one more time, who told you to seal those 47 names? Interruptions 12, 13, and 14 blurred together. Bondi was talking over him. Raskin was calmly restating his question. The chairman was banging the gavel, calling for order. It was chaos. And then Raskin did something that stopped everything. He stood up, slowly, deliberately, picked up a small book from his table, held it so everyone could see it. The United States Constitution. The room went silent. Madam Attorney General. His voice was quiet now, almost gentle, but it carried through the chamber like thunder. I have been practicing constitutional law for 30 years. I taught it at American University. I prosecuted an impeachment trial based on it. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that the document I am holding right now does not give you the right to ignore congressional oversight. It does not give you the right to seal public records without justification. And it most certainly does not give you the right to interrupt elected representatives who are asking you questions on behalf of the American people. He set the Constitution down. So here is what is going to happen. I am going to ask you my question one final time. You are going to answer it. And if you attempt to interrupt me again, I will move to hold you in contempt of Congress, and we will see how your legal theories hold up in federal court. Do we understand each other? The silence that followed was absolute. You could hear the air conditioning. You could hear someone coughing in the gallery. You could hear Bondi swallowing. Her hands were flat on the table. Her lawyers had stopped writing. Everyone was frozen. Raskin sat back down, adjusted his microphone, and asked his question for the final time. Who told you to seal the 47 names in the Epstein files? Bondi opened her mouth. Interruption number 15 started to form. And then Raskin said it. 4 words. Calm, clear, undeniable. You have no choice. Bondi stopped. Mid-word. Mouth still open. Face pale. You have no choice, Raskin repeated. You are under oath. You are subject to congressional subpoena. You are accountable to the American people. And I am asking you a direct question. Who told you to seal those files? Answer, now. Hit that like button right now. This moment needs to be seen by everyone. What happened next was extraordinary. Bondi looked at her lawyers, looked at the chairman, looked back at Raskin, and for the first time in 8 minutes and 34 seconds, she did not interrupt. She did not deflect. She just sat there. Congressman, her voice was barely audible. I do not have an answer that I can provide in this setting. That is not an answer. That is an evasion. Who told you? I cannot. I am going to stop you. Raskin held up his hand. You just said you cannot answer. Not that you do not know. Not that there is no one. You said you cannot answer, which means you do know who told you. You just refused to say. Bondi did not respond. Do you invoke executive privilege? No. Do you invoke attorney-client privilege? No. Do you invoke the Fifth Amendment? Her lead lawyer stood up. Mr. Chairman, my client needs time to consult with counsel before there is nothing to consult. Raskin did not even look at the lawyer. Your client either answers the question or she admits she is protecting someone. Which is it, Madam Attorney General? Interruption number 16 was weak, barely a whisper. Congressman, this is not fair. Fair? Raskin's voice finally rose. You want to talk about fair? 47 people connected to the largest child sex trafficking operation in American history. 47 names that could bring justice to victims who have waited decades for accountability. 47 names that you personally decided to keep hidden from the American people. And you want to talk about fair? He gathered his papers. These documents will be entered into the congressional record. Every memo, every directive, every recommendation you ignored. And tomorrow I will be filing a motion to compel your testimony in closed session, where you will answer my question under penalty of perjury. You may think you have a choice today, but you have no choice tomorrow. The law applies to everyone, even you. He stepped away from the microphone. I yield back, Mr. Chairman. The hearing continued, technically. Other representatives asked other questions. Bondi gave other non-answers, but nobody was listening because Jamie Raskin had just done what nobody thought was possible. He backed the Attorney General into a corner. He exposed her evasions. He caught her in 17 interruptions and forced her to admit she cannot answer the most important question of all. Who told her to protect 47 names connected to Jeffrey Epstein? Within an hour, the clips were everywhere. Raskin holding up the Constitution. Raskin saying you have no choice. Raskin forcing Bondi into silence. Legal analysts were already discussing whether she could be held in contempt. Congressional scholars were debating the scope of oversight powers. And somewhere, whoever told Bondi to seal those files was probably having a very bad day. And if you want to be part of the group that sees these documents first, before anyone else, join the 47 Club. Members get early access to breaking hearings, exclusive document analysis, and behind-the-scenes breakdowns of exactly how we track these stories. Click the Join button below. The 47 names are coming out. You can be among the first to know. Share this video everywhere. This conversation needs to reach everyone. The pressure cannot stop until those names are revealed. And subscribe now. Hit the bell. And if you missed how Raskin trapped Kash Patel with the exact same 47 names, watch the video on screen right now.